And thank you for joining me. So if you're watching this on the replay, don't worry, you're still going to find out exactly the same information. So I'm going to show you 3 techniques which can stop your anxiety or panic attack from taking hold almost instantly. But I know you may be super busy. So if you are, use the link, head straight to the download, but don't forget to tag anyone you know in the comments box if you think that they would also find this useful. Okay, so if you don't know me, my name's Katie Woodland. I am a developmental psychologist, a holistic therapist, and a wellness advocate. And before I go through the 3 techniques, I want to just talk about my own crazy experiences with anxiety and panic, which all kind of happened without me realizing, and I'm sure many of you are going to be feeling exactly the same. So I'm not an anxious person. Most of the time I'm completely in control. I would say that I'm normally pretty confident and really like going out there and exploring new things. So a few years ago, I was in my partner's kitchen and I literally all of a sudden started having palpitations. I thought, genuinely believed I was having a heart attack. It was so horrific. We jumped straight into the car. I couldn't breathe. I was holding on to the dashboard as we were driving because I really thought, oh my God, I'm dying. I don't even know what's going on. We got to A&E. We got rushed into a cubicle. And the man said to me, "You're having a panic attack. Have you had any of these before?" And I'm thinking, I'm not having a panic attack. I've got nothing to be panicked about. I said, I'm dying. I'm having a heart attack. Like, seriously, I'm dying here. And they gave me some gas and air. And eventually, you know, I calmed down. And to this day, I've got no idea what that happened. I was quite stressed with work, but I'm assuming that's where it all came from. It's just I was stressed with work and it just all came out without me realizing. So they put me on, I can't say this properly, but it's propranolol or something, I don't know. But that unfortunately lowered my blood pressure, and I already had quite low blood pressure. So my GP took me off that pretty sharpish. So I ended up, it made me worse. But I still, to this day, was just like, well, I don't have anxiety, so why would I have a panic attack? So then 2 years ago, I was out walking the dogs and we got attacked by another dog and I couldn't stop it playing. And so for the 2 or 3 weeks afterwards, even the thought of putting the leads on my dog would make me feel like I was going to vomit. It was just horrific. Now, by this time, you know, I was a fully fledged psychologist, so I knew it was happening. And I thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to just go with it for 2-3 weeks. I'm going to just not walk the dogs. I need to kind of deal with this. I need to just, I'm not ready to get over it. But then I was like, right, okay, so now it's time to get over it. You know what you need to do. And it was a slow process, but I managed to get myself back out there walking the dogs. You know, the first time we went for a walk, it was 4:30 in the morning because I knew nobody else was going to be there. The second time I did it at 5:30 because we may bump into one person, but it wasn't highly likely. I did it so slowly. And as soon as I heard something rustle, I grabbed the dogs, I prepared myself. I did one of the techniques that I'm going to talk to you about in a second. And I just braced myself for somebody coming around the corner. And it took me about a good 6 weeks before I could just get out and walk. Now, don't get me wrong, every so often, if I'm walking away, you know, around and having a chat, and then I hear somebody, it still sometimes sparks off the waves of panic. But I don't ever let it overcome me anymore. So I'm not trapped in the house anymore because of my random dog bite PTSD. I'm over that, but I still get random bouts of it because it's still there. It's always still there. Okay, so there have also been lots of other times where, you know, I've gone to do something and if you jump over to the blog, there's me talking about how I realised 3 years ago I was terrified of heights, which I didn't even realise was a thing, and it just took me by surprise. So what I want you to know is that you don't have to have had anxiety the whole of your life. You don't have to have had crazy things going on. Sometimes, because we're not consciously paying attention to what's going on in our lives, but our subconscious is always filtering everything and always taking everything in, that you may just be doing something like baking a cake, reading a book, and talking to somebody, and out of nowhere it comes. Okay, so and when it comes, unless you're very unhealthy, this is my pre-warning, it probably isn't a heart attack, it probably is a panic attack, but still go to A&E anyway, because I am not a medical doctor. I still think I'm having a heart attack when they come out of nowhere, and so just be prepared. Okay, so the reason I told you those two stories is that I want you to know that I get it. I'm not telling you to do these three things because, you know, I'm just coming from a place of this is what you need to do because this is what the research shows. These are things that I actually do on myself. I've also successfully supported other people through severe mental ill health with anxiety and depression. One of my past clients was so terrified of somebody who she didn't know talking to her. She literally would not go out in public. She was terrified. And so obviously we use these techniques to help her. One of my other ladies, bless her cotton socks, she was with her partner for over 20 years and she was so scared of making the wrong decision. She wouldn't even, pick what she was watching on TV. She would let her partner always pick what they were watching on TV. And she said the amount of times she was watching things she hated because that was less scary than her actually making a decision and making a choice. So the things I'm talking to you about work on people of extreme levels. Okay, so the reason I'm telling you all this is because they're going to seem so simplistic, and chances are you've heard them before, but I want you to know they really work. Now, anxiety, this is the main thing that you need to realize, that anxiety is a completely natural reaction. Your body's doing what it's supposed to be doing, it's just doing it out of context. So anxiety comes from your brain and body going on autopilot. You've seen, heard, felt something that your body's gone, holy guacamole, that is terrifying. We need to send all these hormones around your body. We need to get you out of this situation as fast as possible. We need to shut your body down. This is just, oh my God, you can't deal with this. Okay, so it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now, so basically your body's working better than everybody else's. It's just on hyper alert, and that's how I tend to look at it. There's nothing wrong with you. You're more aware of what's going on than other people, okay? But what you need to know is that using these three techniques will enable you to get back in the driving seat, okay? So they're really simple. So there's deep breathing, focusing on something random, and focusing on what you want. So I'm going to quickly go into the best ways to use these three. So deep breathing, there's free apps that you can use, that you can have on your phone. There's a free app called Fear Tools, which is phenomenal, and it has somebody who will talk you through breathing, not breathing. There's free things on the internet which will do something similar, but you really don't even have to get that technical. So for me, I find by shutting my eyes and putting my hands over my ears and then deep breathing, that works the best for me. Some people don't want to be closing their eyes, and if you're somebody who doesn't like closing your eyes because it's going to make your panic attack worse, find some random object in your vicinity and focus like you are obsessed with it. So, you know, right in front of me right now, I've got this yellow highlighter, okay? So I would be breathing deeply while staring at this yellow highlighter. Like if I stopped staring, that's what's going to cause me issues. So I'm looking at the fact that all the wording's rubbed off. I'm looking at the fact that it's got a funny point on the end. And you're just taking your conscious mind away from what your subconscious is focusing on. And then once you've calmed down, so whether you've got your eyes shut, your hands over and you're just breathing, or whether you're using something else to take your mind off it and then breathing, once you've brought down all of those automatic responses, so you brought down your heart rate, you've helped lower your blood pressure, you've stopped all the hormones pumping into your system, the next thing to do before you do anything else is focus on what it is you want, okay? So this can be something really simple. So if I was, so if we go back to me having random dog PTSD, I would bring myself down, and then I'd be like, the reason I'm here is because I want to stay healthy. My dogs need the walk. I enjoy being outside. It's a really nice day, you know, I'm getting my vitamin D, and all of those things enabled me to really get back into the reason why I was walking around the woods, and stopped me from turning around and running back. Okay, so the two things at the beginning enable you to come back to the present, and then the third thing enables you to just take the next step and move forward. And when you're overcoming anxiety and overcoming panic attacks, the thing that enables you to reduce the level of anxiety you face is by taking that next step. And that's usually what people forget to say. It's not about the technique to bring your anxiety down. It's what you do the step after that will completely change your outlook on life and completely change everything that you're going through. So I've just shared the 3 techniques which are phenomenal and will support you to stop anxiety like in its tracks, enable you to really get back to being in control of your life. Now, because you've been paying attention to me and I ramble on, there is an easy breezy download sheet. So for anyone who's on live, thank you so much. I will add the link so you can go and grab it straight away, because Facebook doesn't put the button on until after you go through this process. So you can just download it. Now on there is also a nice surprise for anybody who downloads it. So I'm not going to spoil it for you. You'll see it and you find it really quickly. So please make sure that if you've got any questions, do it on this post, or if it's a question that you think is quite private, message me through Facebook and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Please don't forget to tag friends, share, because even with all the best will in the world, when this goes to a paid advert, I can't target everyone, and chances are you may know somebody who needs this as much as you do. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for downloading. Have a phenomenal time, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.